tablets put together. We've already introduced ourselves. I'm with BCI. I'm about 15 years here. I've been involved in doing officer-involved shootings for quite a while. We've been appointed as the head of this investigation. This is a criminal investigation, not an internal. All right, and our rule is this is a criminal investigation. You're entitled to all rights and privileges just like everybody else, so you are given your Miranda warnings. That doesn't mean we think you did anything wrong. It's just what we do here. All right?
I'm Scott Carter, Detective Sergeant out of East Cleveland, assigned to major crimes.
Yeah, this is good. In the course of this investigation, we have a list of questions. Everyone's being asked the same thing. Some of them you might consider an eye roller, like I can't believe they're asking me that. It's nothing personal. It's just what we're asking everybody. We will ask at some point, we're going to let you ramble and tell us everything that happened from your perspective and from the perspective of what happened that night. At some point we'll ask you what you learned since then, but that's okay. If you don't know the answer, obviously say, I don't know. This is all about honesty. What else? As we go along, if it comes a point that you want to check with something before you answer, by all means say something. You can step out of the room and talk and come back in. If you don't want to ask us a question at any time about what we're asking or to clarify something, please do that. Please don't feel that the questions we're asking you are to belittle you or we think less of you. We're trying to get you to elicit more details in some circumstances. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
Okay. So we're going to start off here with the Miranda warnings. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in court. You have the right to consult with an attorney and have an attorney present during questioning. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be provided to you before questioning at no cost. Do you understand these rights?
Yes, I do.
All right. First name was Scott, correct?
Mike.
Michael. Okay. My bad. Rinkus. Spell that for me.
R-I-N-K-U-S.
Okay. Your home address? Number I can reach you at, cell phone? Okay. Date of birth? Okay. First question on the situation here. How are you holding up with all this?
So far, so good. A lot of support.
Good. All right. What is your current assignment at Cleveland?
A 2nd District Vice.
Okay. How many years have you been at Cleveland?
92. I came on in 92. 1/6 of 92. So what is it? 21 years this January?
Thereabouts, yeah. Any experience prior to Cleveland as a police officer?
As a police officer, no, sir.
Okay. What shift are you on, time-wise?
It's a 6 to 2 a.m., 6 p.m. to 2 a.m., what we call 4 to 2 hours.
Okay. What are your days off last week? How they wrote
Saturday, Sunday.
Saturday, Sunday off. Okay. Who was your supervisor on Thursday night?
Sergeant Coleman.
Okay. Did you work any side jobs or overtime shifts last week?
Yeah, I worked a part-time job.
Okay. What day, where?
I think the 28th and the 29th, and it was 4 hours each day, 7 in the morning to 11 in the morning.
Where at?
It's called DCA, Downtown Cleveland Alliance.
Okay, it's a foot patrol gig. It's a
car patrol. You patrol the area, downtown area.
Okay.
Is that secondary employment or is that through the city?
Secondary.
Thursday. How are you feeling for your shift? Tired, sleepy, sick, sneezy?
Oh, fine, fine.
Any type of medications, over the counter or prescribed? Okay. Wearing your glasses, you wear contacts when you're on duty?
No, wear my glasses.
Glasses? Wearing them Thursday night?
Yes.
All right. What are you wearing while you're working? What are you wearing Thursday night?
I had a black Under Armour shirt on. What was it? Khaki pants. My vest. And my badge clipped onto my vest.
Okay, regular vest or attack vest?
Regular vest.
Any jacket or anything with big police logos or hoodie over on?
I left it in the office when I ran out.
Okay. What gear are you carrying with you?
Just my service weapon.
Just the pistol? No extra magazines?
No extra magazines.
Okay. No handcuffs? No nothing?
Just flashlight and service weapon. No handcuffs. Nothing.
Okay. Which pistol are you carrying?
The Glock 26.
And how many rounds does that carry?
13.
12 in the magazine?
Correct.
Chamber. Okay. Okay. You carrying any type of personal recorder, digital recorder, video camera thing, anything
No,
like
sir.
that? What kind of car are you in?
The Dodge Charger, black Dodge Charger. I'm not sure of the year. Maybe they're 09s or 10s or something.
Okay. Unmarked, marked?
It's unmarked, but it's equipped with lights and sirens,
Okay.
strobes.
Who were you riding with?
Bill Slupo.
Who's driving?
Me.
Okay. The lights and siren are working?
Yes.
Okay. Not a camera in the car?
No, sir.
Okay. What channel are you operating on?
Channel 2.
What was your call sign?
2 Victor 82.
What kind of training? Any specialties, instructors, certificates, SWAT certificates, anything like that?
No, sir.
Any military background?
Yes, sir.
What branch?
Army.
Your MOS?
76 something. Victor 1P.
What'd you do?
Truck?
Paratrooper.
Paratrooper?
Paratroopers.
82nd, you say?
Yes, sir.
Thanks for your service.
From when to when? Trick question.
86 to 89.
All right. Qualify with your weapons in the past year?
Yes, sir.
Which weapons?
My Glock.
Any long gun?
No, sir. Oh, shotgun.
Shotgun?
Shotgun.
Okay. During any of your trainings, you have use of force training, review of policies, all that stuff?
Yes.
Okay. Your pilot certificate's good, up to date?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have you ever been involved in any prior shootings?
Yes, sir.
How many?
September 2000, I was shot.
September of 2000?
Correct. January 2003, I was involved in a shooting. I was one of the shooters. And then September 2011, I was also involved in domestic, where I was a shooter.
Okay, the very first one in 2000, you said you got shot?
Yes, sir.
Or did you return fire in that one?
No, sir.
How was your shift going that night? Tell me about the shift. You started your shift, what were you doing? What were you up to?
Started a shift, I was in contact with some informants. One informant came through, we made a control buy, we just got done following the suspect, and I was back at the district, just following the paperwork, began typing the search warrant.
Okay, what happened?
Somebody was yelling, they're chasing. I think it was Sergeant Coleman. I walked out in the hallway, I said, who's chasing? And then I could hear it, they're chasing. And I said, Billy, my partner said, we going? I said, no, I'm not ready to go. I mean, it's a car pursuit. And then they came over that they're shooting at a policeman. I said, well, we're going now. So I grabbed my vest, flashlight, and ran out to my car, or a car.
Is that the car you normally used, that Charger?
Well, we have three. So we have primarily the silver and black Charger. Yeah, yes it is. Either the black one or the silver one. Blake Sergeant Coleman likes the silver one, so we kind of just said, we'll go with the other one. That's right.
Okay.
So as I was running down the hall in the district, I yelled, get keys, and Billy said the keys are in the visor, so we were set.
Okay. What happened then?
We left the district parking lot, crossed over Fulton and north on 41st. We got to Clark, and westbound on Clark, that's when we heard he's on Clark. The chase is coming towards us. We get to about before the bridge, so it'd be 60, 61st, and I can see him coming. I'm in the center lane, so I move over. Well, he moves over. I move back, he moves back. So then I really move over and just let him go by. So then the trail of cars went by, and I didn't even turn and just fell in behind everybody.
Okay, keep going.
There's a lot of broadcasting going on.
What's going on? What are they broadcasting?
I'm only paying attention to some of it because there was a lot of cars there. I wanted to focus on driving. I didn't want to ram another police car because there was a lot of stopping and going, not stopping, but a lot of slowing down, a lot of braking, working. When we get to the bottom of Quigley, or the bottom of Clark, somebody's saying about a gun. That's coming over the radio. At the time, I thought they were talking about they threw the gun out the window. So I'm telling Billy, somebody stopped him. He goes, no, just keep going. I said, all right. So we just stayed behind. My job, I was just telling Billy that, we're just going to stay in line. We're not going to, I'm not trying to jockey for position or anything. Just stay behind the car in front of me. And a couple zone cars were coming out. So we let them handle it right away, let them go by, and we just stayed behind in line. And it went up the hill to the turnaround, north on 14th, and then up onto the freeway.
Okay.
Again, now that we're on the freeway, I kind of backed off a little bit, just staying behind everybody. And we just followed the trail of cars to 72nd. When we got off at 72nd, I got lost. I'm not any sighter, so I know we got up to St. Clair, but after that, I didn't know where I was at. I just stayed with the cars until somehow we turned around and we're coming back west on St. Clair, and somebody says, we're past the Eddy Road. I said, all right, I know where I'm at. So I knew Eddy Road, and then we went south on Addison, and we got side streets back there. And again, I have no idea where we were at.
Okay.
So as far as directions or streets, but the whole time there's people talking on the radio. We didn't say anything. At least I don't think Billy did, because I told him at one point, just let him talk. We're not close enough to be calling this out. Just listen and follow. There's chatter, people, officers seeing guns, he's hanging a gun out the window. Towards the end of it, there was talk about, looks like they're loading, or somebody's loading a weapon, weapons out the window. Somewhere in there, again, I can't remember exactly where we were at when these things were said, because I'm paying attention as I'm driving. I don't want to ram a police car. I mean, there were so many police cars. So I don't recall where we were at when they were saying these things, but I recall some of this stuff being said, and it was, a gun on the window, he's pointing a gun at me, and it just went on from there, and then we went up into this, somebody said it was a water treatment plant. I had no idea where it was at. I didn't even know it was in East Cleveland. But we really fell behind. Well, we fell way behind, or a little bit more behind at that point, because there was some driving on sidewalks, and we went up this hill, and there was a dust of dirt. I thought it was a dirt hill, or a dirt road. And then he went down this other road that was a hill, and that's where somebody said it's a dead end, it's a dead end. And as we were coming down the hill, you could see that they were, they looked like they were chasing him in circles, or he was going in circles or half circles, but somebody else shots fired, and he starts coming up the hill at us again. So I went to the left, up on this little island medium, came back around, up on the playground medium, or a little bit of the grass, and back into the street, and that's when I stopped. The cars were stopped up there. They had, blockade or whatever.
Okay. What happened next?
That's when I got out of my car, and the second I got out, there was just bullets everywhere. Just bullets flying by me. I mean, literally, just, I still can't believe I did. And I returned just to fire as a suppression fire. I ran for cover. During this time, I see a police officer. I don't know any of these guys. They're all young kids. I see a police officer fall. And by the time I got to the sidewalk, I was out of rounds, and the volley of gunfire stopped. So I ran back to my car. When I got back to my car, another volley of rounds went off, and I just laid on the ground, and I was grabbing a patrolman by the belt. Give me a magazine, give me a magazine. He gave me one. I locked and loaded. And then that volley stopped. When that one stopped, I just stood up and tried to approach the car. And the uniforms were approaching it a lot quicker than I was, so I stayed at a low ready and behind them.
Did you fire anything from the second round, or second mag we put in?
No, sir. This is the driveway they came in. Coming up here. Black Chargers right here. It's the license plate that's on the car. A silver Charger, suspect vehicle. You got your orientation there? Yes. Okay. You pull in, as they're coming up, you're watching what's going on up here by the islands, you said, right?
So we're about somewhere in this area
Okay.
when they're doing this. Just draw an indicator here. We're on the way down where, I don't know, between here and here, right where the car is, I think, almost in this area. I'm not sure if we were this far or this far, but right here.
Okay.
They were doing some cars went this way and this way, so I didn't see I couldn't tell who was who. It was smoke and dust and everything. But it was when we were in this area, somebody here was yelling, "Shots fired." So when I come down this way, bad guy's car's coming this way, or suspect's car, the is coming up this way, and we just miss it, or it just misses us. I go this way, I go up onto this, come this, and I wouldn't have done that, but there's cars everywhere. And we come up this way, just like that. We just cut across, probably a little more into that,
Okay.
but basically, and that's why I came to arrest. There's the
Okay.
door, I get out, and I go this way.
Over to that sidewalk.
Yes.
Okay.
And the second I get out, I see an officer go down here. And I mean, the round, it was just ridiculous. The rounds they were just flying. I didn't want to stop. I just kept running. And I just aimed my weapon like suppression fire.
Okay.
And
What are you aiming at?
the back window here.
Back
because
window, okay.
The window blew out, and the rounds were just coming right at me. I could literally hear them just pinging by my head. I didn't know what to do. I just kept running straight. And I was out by the time I got to the sidewalk, and the volley stopped, and I ran back to my car, this time on the passenger side.
Okay.
And there was an officer there, and I kind of laid on the ground, I sat on the ground. I was tugging at him, give me a magazine. Thinking he would give me one out of his extra magazine. He drops the magazine out of his gun and gives it to me, and then he reloads with a fresh one, and but then we never left the car again. It took the second volley, and then we just stayed there. We didn't fire from there. Nobody fired from there.
Do you know who that officer was that gave you the mag?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I found him later on that night, gave it back to him. I have no idea who these guys are. Well, I know some idea what they are, but I don't know their names.
Yeah.
John, do you have those pictures?
No, I don't have those here. Back up a little bit here, man. You cross Fulton, you're northbound 41st, you hit Clark westbound, and the pursuit's coming at you. You were taking him head-on at you, right? You're watching, you're moving.
We were in I was in my lane.
Right.
I was in my center westbound lane. He came over towards me. So I moved to the right a little bit, and he moved to the right. I moved left. He moved left. I moved back right, and he just went right by me.
So you moved 2 more times, and he's mirroring.
I went right, left, right. So, yeah,
Okay, and he stayed with you each turn.
until the final right.
Okay.
Then he just blew by me.
How many cruisers, how many marked units were behind it when they went past you, do you know?
And I'm only guessing, I'd say 4 to 5, 5, 6. Yeah, there was a handful. Because we couldn't, I turned, I got up on the curb, and I tried to get back in, but I couldn't. I had to wait till they all passed.
Okay. Sorry. You're focusing on your driving, you say you're doing a lot of braking. About how fast do you think you're going at this point?
Down Clark, you know, I wasn't even watching.
What's it
I
feel
would
like?
only be guessing
Okay.
60, 70.
Okay. Okay. Lights and siren the whole time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Shooting stops. Things start calming down a little bit. Yeah, let me back up. Did you know what your suspects looked like, who they were, or anything?
No, sir.
Did you ever hear the original broadcast of the description? Since Thursday, have you heard the names mentioned on the news at all? Okay. Are you familiar with the names at all?
Yes.
You are familiar with them?
One of them,
Okay, which one are you familiar with?
I just read it this morning, the Malissa Williams.
How are you familiar with her?
I apparently arrested her in '09. I don't remember.
Is that, you're making it sound like, how do you get this now?
On the paper, .com or whatever, says I arrested her in '09. I don't remember, but
I'll show you.
They look familiar at all?
no.
Take a deep breath. It's okay. All right. About how far do you think when you bail out of your car here? Here. Okay. About how far do you think you're running?
Seemed like I was 3 feet away.
No idea.
From my door to the sidewalk?
Yeah.
20 to 30 feet,
Okay.
maybe.
Okay. And how far do you think you were away to the subject vehicle? And again, these are estimates, your best guess.
I'd say a little bit further, maybe 30, 35 feet.
Okay, that's fair. It was whatever your interpretation is, that's what I want. Okay. I'm not asking you to sit there like an NFL judge and be able to say that's 3 yards, that's
Oh, no,
whatever.
no.
Okay. Okay. From where you're at, are you hearing anybody giving verbal commands to the subjects? Can you hear anybody yelling?
No, the sirens were so loud. Matter of fact, after it was settled, like you said, settled down, it was yelling, shut the sirens off. It was so loud.
Okay. Again, your interpretation, what was the lighting like there? Parking lot, cruiser lights, what's it looking like to you?
You know, for being at nighttime hours, it was lit up. I thought it was pretty good.
Could you see in the vehicle with the lighting, or
I'm sorry.
could you see into the vehicle with the lighting?
No, because my angle, the glass just blew out at me, and it was just glass light. There was like a big hole in the glass. That's all I had. I couldn't see anything in the vehicle.
Okay. Do you know where your partner was at while this is going on?
No, sir.
Would you have any idea where any of the other officers are at?
No, sir. I mean, there was some in front of me up on the sidewalk, like, you know, grassing here. I don't know who they were. There was uniformed guys there, because I was kind of running towards them. But no, I have no idea where anybody was at.
Well, just this one, there's no cars on this. So, where, on this side of the sidewalk here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, there's other officers over there that you can see.
Here, there's some officers up here. There's like a little wall there. I didn't realize it till after, but there's like a little
Retaining wall type thing?
Yeah, like a foot-high wall, like
Okay.
a bridge or something, like the, what do you call those, landscaping wall, or whatever. It's the sidewalk, the little wall. And that's where I was running to try to use this guy, you know, this zone car is covered, but by the time I hit the sidewalk, the body was done, and I ran back to my car.
Okay. All right. question, and again, your reasoning. Why did you fire?
I thought I was getting fired on.
Okay.
I can't believe I didn't get hit. I just...
What did you think when you saw the other officer go down?
I thought he was shot. I mean, the volume of rounds and, you know, if the shots fired at that bottom of the hill, the officers are seeing weapons and they're not giving up. I'm like, it's crazy. I mean, when they're right, I don't know. I thought he was going on a blaze of glory. I don't know what he was doing. I thought he was, the back window blows out, rounds are flying by me. I don't know, run, walk, stop. I just stayed the same pace and kept going.
Okay. You said that as you're pulling in, that's fine. That's fine. You said the guys up here are broadcasting shots fired. Up here. Okay,
When I came down the hill,
you're coming in,
and
you're
when I see
watching.
cars making turns, somebody saying shots fired. And he came around and came right past us as we went this way.
Okay.
And I went, maybe not that far with me. I know I went over a
That's fine.
medium. I don't know, it could have been that one. I don't know how far I went down. I went over a medium there, and then I know I went over here because I followed afterwards. I went back and looked, and I got some tire tracks.
Okay. All right. So the suspect vehicle's there. That's got to be where the shots are being fired at.
Correct.
Okay. That's what I want to know. When you're driving up, can you hear the shots being fired up there?
No, sir.
No. Okay. Okay, bear with me a second. You said something else that. Oh, okay. They come down, they're coming at you. They come down on your side of the car, your partner's side of the car. When they're coming down the parking lot, they're at you.
Billy's side, I believe, the passenger side.
Okay. Okay. Did they hit your car at all? Were they close enough to hit you at any time like that?
They were close, but they didn't hit my car.
All right. Under the circumstances, are there any other options you felt were available that you could have done?
No, sir.
Okay. What are the other officers doing? Things are calming down now. What's happening?
The patrolmen, the uniform guys, were taping off the scene up there, and I'm like, wait a minute, there's shots fired down here. We got to find these rounds. So I'm trying to get guys to come down and help me, and everybody was busy up there, so I went down to this area.
So they're taping off down here around
They're taping
the
off.
suspect car and everything, and you come up here.
I come up here, I locate a casing here, and I direct Billy, and there was a zone car down here. I told, well, they were actually up here. I said, hey, can you move down over here? We need to block this off down here further. So they drove over here, and I had Billy find something to place by the shelf for us.
Okay, did you pick it up? Pick up any of the shells?
I would not touch it.
How many did you find? Just the one?
Just the one.
You have the other zone cars come up there to put the headlights in the area, or just kind of like guard the area?
Just kind of got, they were parked right here with their lights on and everything. I just asked them to come down here, so we had, you know, a further point.
Okay.
I advised them there was a shell there, don't let nobody kick it or anything. Then I went to, I walked, I didn't want to go by the car. I walked all the way up here through the park, and found a car over here with some, looking for tape. And the zone car guy gave me some tape. And I went back down here and
Okay.
I taped it off.
Did you hear anybody call for EMS?
No, I just taped it off and then went and sat in my car.
What are the other officers doing? I mean, what's the conversation? What's the tone? What's the atmosphere?
Didn't talk to anybody.
Didn't talk to
Sat in
anybody.
my car. Sergeant Coleman found me. She went and collected up her guys and asked, you know, everybody all right? Who shot him? I just sat in the car.
Okay. Injured in any way?
No, sir.
No, nothing hit you in the vest?
I went back to my vest yesterday, checked it 5 times. I went yesterday, I went Sunday. I just can't believe how you did. It's ridiculous. I don't know why God was on my side.
Since Thursday night, have you talked to any of the other officers involved about this?
Just brief conversation, nothing. I didn't ask him any questions. And I didn't say anything to him. You know.
And who was it?
Cindy Moore, yesterday we were downtown together. She said she was going out here. I said, all right. Anything let me know. Told the younger guys to, you know, talk to these other guys, you know, make sure they're all right. I called Jeff. I haven't even told my wife what happened.
Okay. Were you in fear for your safety or the safety of anyone else when you were up there?
Yes, sir.
Not only here, at any point during the pursuit, were you fearful of anything?
Yes, sir.
At what point?
Realizing he's not stopping, he's trying to ram police cars. When they're saying that there's a gun out the window and he's not stopping, and then shots fired, that's just, you know, he's on a dead end. And I've been around a while, so you're at a dead end and you're shooting your way out. So yes, I was in fear of my life.
Okay. Do you feel that your actions were consistent with your training?
Yes, sir.
Were the other officers involved? Were they acting within what you think how they were trained as well?
I didn't see what they were doing. You know what, you go into a tunnel vision mode, and all I was worried about is getting a cover. I've been fired at once and walked away, but I've never been fired at multiple times in just a few feet. And I just wanted to get to cover. I wasn't watching nobody, I wasn't looking. I kept my eye on the target car, suspect vehicle. And when the volley stopped, I ran back to my car for cover.
Okay. How long did it, and here again, subjective, how long did it feel like that first volley lasted?
Hours, but it was only a few seconds.
But it felt like hours?
Yes, sir.
There's this lull, there's the first volley, there's this break. How long did that feel to you that it took, that it gave you the time to run back to cover?
Well, I'm not a very fast guy, but when you're scared out of your mind, you run pretty quick, so I was kind of left out in the open there, so I turned around and ran as fast as I could. And so the seconds, a second.
Okay. All right, bear with me on these questions here, all right?
Yes, sir.
Did you use your cell phone at the scene?
No, sir.
Did you use your cell phone to take any pictures at the scene?
No, sir.
Did you see anybody using their phones to take any pictures at the scene?
No, sir. Can I add to that?
Absolutely.
I left my phone on my desk when I ran out.
That makes it easy.
Not to my wife. I was trying to borrow a phone so I can call home.
Did you? You had to borrow one?
Yes.
From whom?
My partner.
Okay. Has anyone asked you to lie or otherwise try to influence your statement to us?
No, sir.
Is there anything we didn't ask you think we need to know about in regards to this whole night?
No, sir.
I mean, I know we can do simple math, how many rounds you had, but do you know how many rounds you fired?
13.
Did you know that night?
I am going to assume my magazine was fully loaded, so yes.
And how do you know definitively now?
I'm still believing my magazine was completely loaded.
Did anybody inspect your magazine, or
The homicide unit on the scene that night.
do you know who that was?
Detective Nate Silva.
SOWA.
You're up to the sidewalk, you start engaging the target, slab locks back under pistol?
He locked back before I even got to the sidewalk.
Okay.
Counselor, do you have anything?
Any evidence of any racial animus from any officers, any racial epithets that you heard?
No, sir.
You guys normally operate on what channel?
Well, the Vice, we used both Channel 2, Tag 2 and Channel 2.
So the first you heard of this was over Channel 2?
Correct.
Did you stay on Channel 2 for the rest of it?
Yes.
Your portables on Channel 2?
I didn't have portable.
You didn't take them with you?
Next to your cell phone on your desk?
I was putting my vest on as I was driving. I ran out that fast. They just, well, again, as fast as my little feet can carry me.
Just remind me, in your background in Second District Vice, in your career, have you had the occasion to be involved in any actions that resulted in the arrest of other police officers?
Did I?
Yeah, were you involved in any investigations or prosecutions for fellow police officers involved in misconduct?
No, sir.
Didn't you have one of your informants who had some kind of sex offense committed by a police officer?
Yes, sir.
So you were involved in the prosecution of another officer, correct?
Yes, sir. I forgot about that.
Um,
Well,
I never had to go to court on it or anything.
Okay.
It was settled.
And you did your job in that case without regard to another officer being prosecuted, correct?
Yes, sir.
In the Second District Vice, the nature of your duties in that unit, have you been involved in some major high-risk undercover drug operations?
Yes, sir.
Can you just give the investigators a brief understanding as to the intensity and nature of some of those investigations and the bad guys you've been involved in investigating?
You know, in the vice unit, we do everything from drugs, liquor, prostitution, mostly drugs though, where we will accompany a CI and portray ourselves as a bad person, a bad guy,
Right.
and go undercover, where we buy, large quantities of drugs and put ourselves there.
Can you give us some example of quantities that you and your partners or unit has taken off the street?
Kilo, anywhere from 1 rock to multiple kilos. Just recently in the last few years, I was involved in an OxyContin investigation that my target ended up working for the mob, so he thought it'd be wise for him to take pictures of my family, in my house, in my car, and put death threats on me.
So how does this incident compare with some of the undercover operations you've been involved in terms of danger and risk?
High risk.
You ever had anything like this happen in your career before?
Shootings?
Yeah, like this?
No, just
I'm going to back up a minute here. You were involved in an investigation that led to another officer being charged with a sex offense.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, you just made the comment you didn't have to testify in that. The information was brought to you and you forwarded it to your supervisor, or?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I went to,
You were the guy that found out about it.
my partner and I, CIA that worked for us, called us, told us what happened.
That another officer had sex with
Right, it was,
her in the back of
because
the
it
patrol
was,
car?
it was another policeman involved, it was sent to notify our supervisor right away. We picked up the informant, kind of walked through the crime scene a little bit, and, the supervisor contacted everybody involved. But I never had to speak
Okay.
or nothing like that.
I want to make sure I get the chain right there for doing the right thing. Okay. Whether you've got to testify or not, it's just taking the big first step. And I understand where council's going with that. I appreciate that. Anything else, gentlemen?
Next one. Is this a relevant subject?
In regards to, yeah, and in regards to, oh, okay. When did that story appear in the paper that they decided you,
I think that's today on Cleveland.com.
Oh, the arrest?
The arrest.
Yeah, it's in the Metro section of Budget.
Yeah.
What-
Today, Cleveland.com.
is this,
Let me just ask, did there come a time since this incident where you were trying to determine whether you had any professional contact with any of the two subjects in this case?
Yes.
What'd you do?
I did old lake checks on both victims.
and when did you do that, do you remember?
Monday?
Third?
Was it Monday?
Yeah,
Yeah,
third.
Monday, okay, Monday.
Sake of argument here, why did you run them?
because 2 people were dead, and I wanted to know what was going on. I wanted to know if I had any affiliation with these 2 individuals in the past. I just had a million questions I want answered.
Okay.
I want to know why. I want to get in their head and figure this out.
Okay, former affiliations. When you ran them, do they sound familiar? Names sound familiar? They look familiar?
No, sir.
Didn't ring any bells at all?
It still doesn't, even though it was in .com today, I don't recall it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I had a note there, but trying to shuffle through all the pieces of paper and find the right notes. Yeah, I did see that you had run rural legs on the 3rd. Very good. I appreciate that. Do me a favor, just initial that and badge number, please.